Oh, there's a turn button. Turn button. Okay. Done. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamshta Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desha Tarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sandubhe Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So welcome all of you all for today's session. So today we are starting with the 6th topic of the Journey of Self-Discovery course that we have been doing, and this is like the final session of this course, which is called Practical Application of Bhagavad Gita in our daily life. So Bhagavad Gita is not a book only meant for theory. It's not that you by heart the 700 shlokas of Gita and you learn it by heart and you answer an exam and you are like done with Gita. Gita is not that kind of book. You can't understand this book only through head. Not possible. Scriptures are not understood that way, right? You have to follow it, you have to apply it. One time someone came to Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, and he told Srila Prabhupada, I can recite the entire Gita in 45 minutes. Prabhupada was not that impressed. Prabhupada said, that's good. But my question is, can you live by Gita for 5 minutes? That's what is more important. Prabhupada would say, philosophy without practical application or philosophy without character is simply a waste of time. Philosophy and Gita is meant for us to apply it and develop those qualities, find transformation in our life. So Gita is just not meant for the head, it's not meant for good information, which may be one part of it, but the main purpose of Gita is transformation of heart, and for that we need to apply the principles. So in this session, I don't know whether we'll complete today, if not today we will do it in the next part, no issue. But we are going to see how we can translate whatever we have learned till now into our day-to-day life. How does Gita get translated into our day-to-day life? That's the whole session, the last session. Is it okay? Practical application of Gita in our daily life. So just a quick summary for those who have not been there around and those who are coming for the first time. Just like a quick summary. We will not get into each of this because every time someone comes, we can't just keep doing it. But I'm sure, this summary will give you all an idea of what it is. Who am I? We have been discussing according to the Gita. We are not the body. I am not the body. I am a spirit soul entrapped in the temporary material body. We had this discussion, right? We are not these bodies. We are Atma, Aham Brahmasmi. We are entrapped in a temporary material body. We are not, I think I discussed this statement also, we are not human beings with a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings with a human experience now because we are in a human body at this point. Right? You're getting it? So we are not this body, but we are eternal spirit soul. Where do I come from? I here refers to spirit, the Atma. I, the spirit soul, who was originally with God, has come from the spiritual world, a place where there is no birth, no death, no old age, no disease, my true home, which all the scriptures universally declare. We have all come from that kingdom of God. We are all once with God. We were all in the spiritual world. And spiritual world we described is Vaikunta. Vaikunta means no misery, no birth, no death, no old age. It's an eternal place. Right? There is nothing as in this material world, everything has a start and an end. In an eternal spiritual world, there is no start and end. And that is actually a true home. Where am I now? I am in this material world called Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. We are in this material world, and this material world is tagged as a place of misery and temporariness. A lot of issues in this world and temporary. Where am I here now? Why am I here now? I chose to be independent of God, and thus He created this place which is like a prison house for my rectification. And also, for those who have missed it, this word prison house may create a lot of things that, hey, why did God do this? So we had a whole discussion that the whole idea is for rectification. That's the whole idea, right? It's out of compassion that this whole material world is made. Rectification, that's the whole idea. And again, we had this long discussion about we chose to be independent of God. God didn't send us here. We chose to leave Him and come. Why do I get different bodies? Desires create actions. So everything starts with desires. Desires create actions. Actions give rise to reactions. Okay? Different reactions give rise to different bodies. 84 lakh species of life. We discussed about karma, right? Every action that we do creates a reaction, and the sum total of that reaction at the end of one's life will decide what the next life is going to be. Whether it's going to be the lower species, higher species, back to the kingdom of God, whatever. For how long this will go on? Millions of lives we have lived, millions of good and bad things we have done, millions of reactions are in store for us. So in our Vedic scriptures, this life is not considered to be all in all. Atma is on a journey through different bodies, right? Transmigrating from one body to another. So in every body, something or the other is done, and all these reactions are piled up. We have no idea what we have done, when we have done, no clue. So what should I do now? We discussed this point also last time. Human life is the most precious gift of God. This human life is the most precious gift. Because only in this human form of life, you can decide the future course of journey. We are all on this journey. We can decide what do we want to do, where do we want to be next. Whether you want to be born again in this world as a human being, as an animal, you want to go to Swarga, the demigods, the abode of the demigods, or you want to go back to the kingdom of God, back home, back to Godhead. So these are the various choices that we can make only in human form of life. And we discussed this. Once you miss this opportunity of human form of life, you will get into the cycle of birth and death until again you come to this platform of human life. Only then you will get this opportunity. So scriptures emphatically declare and they beg all of us and stress this point that please don't waste this God-given opportunity. Right? Please don't waste this God-given opportunity. The human form of life is meant for achieving something great. It's just not meant for achieving the things of this world. How can I go? Yes, thank you. I'm thinking about the video and it shouldn't be too dark. I mean, ultimately it's for you all only. How can I go back home, back to Godhead? This is what we are going to discuss now. Last time, where we stopped was, we discussed karma, ultimately whatever we get is because of the previous karmas that we do. And we discussed that human form of life is like a train junction where you can make various choices. But what is the best choice? We discussed this now. Which jail you will prefer? A class jail, B class jail or C class jail? Nimi Mataji?
No jail.
Okay. No jail. Will you prefer a gold chain, silver chain, gold shackles, silver shackles or iron shackles? No shackles. Right? So best thing is what? To go back to the spiritual world. How do you go back? That's the topic for today. Freedom from, please be attentive, and you all have been attentive throughout, but even if not, this session is like very crucial. Freedom from all previous reactions and the process of acting in such a way that there will be no further reactions is called akarma. So we discussed 3 kinds of karma, you all remember? What are the 3 kinds of karma? One is, yes, okay, even if you don't know the Sanskrit names, what it is, you can tell me in English, what are the 3 kinds of karmas we discussed? Anyone?
Sukarma, Dushkarma and Akarma.
Yeah, so one is called karma. The first thing is called karma, which means good activities. Vikarma is bad activities, sinful activities. And then we discussed akarma. So now we saw if you do good activities, you will get good reactions. If you do like very good activities, you will go to heavens. But then again in heavens, after your punya is over, you will have to come back. So it's still that's not perfect. If you do bad, so definitely you suffer. So the best kind of activity that we are supposed to do, which the Gita Bhagavad recommends, is called akarma. What does akarma mean? Akarma activities, by performing them, you don't get any reactions. All the more, all your previous reactions get squared away. Getting the point? We have a lot of stock of punya and papa. Good, bad, we have a lot of stock. By doing akarma, you don't entangle yourself further into this karmic cycle, and all your previous karma that you have done, which we have no idea of, can all get washed away. That is the beauty of akarma, right? So akarma, we are going to discuss a little more on this. Akarma basically means neutral activities. I'll give you an example. You may have a soldier who may fight for a country, right? He may go to the borders and there may be like a war with the neighboring country, and he may go and or if there is a terrorist infiltration, he may go and kill a few terrorists and come. So what does the country do? The country honors such a soldier. He risked his life, to save this land. He is honored. Every country has its own way of honoring different awards that they give, military awards, Paramveer Chakra, whatever. Certain awards are given to the soldier, right? Now, if the same soldier comes back home with his gun and he sees that the neighboring child is making too much noise, he takes the gun and shoots that child. Shut up. Now, what do you think the government is going to do to this soldier? What will the government do? This fellow will be hanged, whatever punishment it is, right? He will be given a severe punishment. Now, if the soldier says, come on, I killed 10 people there, you gave me an award. I killed one guy here, you are hanging me. Killing 10 people is more sinful, yeah, killing one is more sinful. Killing 10, na? So the soldier will say, I killed 10 guys there, you all given me an award in front of everyone, honored me. I killed one fellow here, you all are hanging me now. Why you are doing this? What is the difference between both? Both was killing, na? Both was killing. There also he killed terrorists. Here also he killed someone. What is the difference?
One is for good cause.
Okay. Okay.
Protection
One was for
of the
good.
nation.
Yeah, correct.
And
What
one
else?
is selfless skill.
Correct. Yeah. So now we are coming closer. The first killing, he did it on behalf of the government. Government told him, go kill the terrorists. Understanding? Because he had that order, he did it. So he is not held responsible. His activity is neutral. He is not held responsible. Second time when he did the killing, he did it at his own whims, due to his own selfish desires. Now he is implicated. Understanding? Did you understand?
It's their fault anyway.
What is that?
It's the fault of the soldiers anyway.
What is that?
That they abide to what the boss says and they go and kill people. So if they do not abide to what they say,
Yeah,
there would not be any killing anyway.
correct.
Which is always a bad thing anyway.
What-
So either do they listen to the head.
Yeah.
So it's not the fault of the people who say that you have to go there for the state you have to kill so many people.
Okay.
Okay? It's not their fault. It's the person's fault who actually is the soldiers, whoever it is, that are going there and killing the people. Because if they hadn't to listen to what they have to say, there would not be any killing.
So is killing
So
good or
each one
not?
takes, no, it's bad. Each one each one takes their own responsibility.
But he's doing his duty.
No, there should be, there should not be any sort of duty in this manner.
Ahimsa hi paramo
So
dharma.
I don't say that it's the fault of the government or the politicians or whoever it is that says, or the kings that says go and kill so many people. It is the soldier itself that listens to what he's got to say.
No,
So
no.
that becomes their responsibility if they go out and kill 100 people.
Yeah, but I mean,
So many.
so this is-
That's why all of us, we listen to the people, the politicians, and they say
Nahin.
we have to do this and
see,
we have to do
the
that.
first thing na, this is just an example. Don't blow this example too much. This is just an example to drive a point.
Yeah, but I'm
But
giving
even
another point.
yeah. The other point also, see, understanding that no one likes to kill, that's for sure. But general principle is ahimsa, non-violence. That's the general principle. But when you're dealing with severe terrorist kind people, cancerous people for the society, violence is needed. Otherwise, these terrorists will infiltrate and do massive violence to the innocent people. You understanding?
Yeah, but many times it was not only terrorism.
No, I'm talking about terrorism. I'm not getting into politics and all those things.
Yeah.
I'm not getting into that game. I'm saying, why the soldier does. See, you're questioning the duty, whether the nation needs soldiers only, you're questioning. Definitely. We are able to question that because there are soldiers. The day all the soldiers go out, we will not even remain to ask that question. So point is what? No country loves to invest in military. But military is something that is needed to protect.
But they're making a lot of money out of it.
Yeah, that's a different thing. I mean,
It's not like how it was before.
exactly. I'm talking about the principles, Siddhant. Now things have changed, everyone is corrupt in all levels. That's a different story. We are not getting into that, right? So, when I'm giving you this example, just try to get the essence. Okay? What is the essence? The essence is that when a soldier goes and he carries out, he kills, but on behalf of the government, he is not held responsible because he is doing the government's will. Okay? Now, when the same soldier comes and kills on his own in his village, due to frustration, he is implicated in karma. He is caught. He is considered a criminal because he is doing it on his own selfishly without following any superior orders. Okay? This is the principle. So, why we are giving this example? Similarly, see, in both the places it was killing, right? But why he killed in both the places were completely different. One was selfish, one was driven by protection for the country on a greater good. So similarly, akarma means activity. But what activity? Activity done for the interest of God, by following His authority, and not for personal satisfaction. Understanding? Akarma means when you do a certain activity for God. And how do you understand what is for God? You have to read the scriptures. What is His will? What is His desire? When you act in line with that, that is called akarma. You understanding the point? Are you all understanding? I don't know whether what's your name, madam?
Francis.
Francis. I'm sure because you have come in the last session, it will be a little difficult for you. But whatever little you can try to grasp, and probably later we can have like a one-to-one, because we have had like 10 sessions that we ran through to come to this point, so it's going to be, I understand it's going to be really difficult for you to digest everything in one go, but you'll just try to understand certain things as much as you all can. Okay? Did you all understand the concept of akarma?
But I actually agree with her.
Tell me.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Hare
Why
Krishna.
not give an example which is not about killing?
yeah, that would be better.
Why
Oh.
not give an example like that? Or is that
Oh, okay,
because
okay.
it comes from the Bhagavad Gita, so you got the Mahabharata and people are killing? I mean, is that the reason you give
Not exactly. Because
Because it's sort of contrary to modern
It's too
values.
much, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Because it's killing. At the end of the day, it's killing. He has decided he wants to be a soldier because the government is going to place him orders and he is going to kill.
Yeah, but
So his karma is not still going to be bad because he's killing so many people because of one reason or the other. It's still killing people.
you see, I don't know how to. I mean, you all are not able to understand the context of how a society works. You all are not able to understand.
No, we've got the example of the Russia-Ukraine war,
Mm.
the Israeli-Gaza conflict, right? So these issues are just paramount at the moment.
Oh,
So
nee, don't see, when we are discussing principles, don't take the principles to the issues. Don't take the principles to the issues.
But that's how
Principle, no. The principle is, okay, tell me one thing. If you all are supposed to head a nation, simple. Francis and what's your Anjali mother? Anjali. If you all are supposed to head a nation, can you all run a nation minus soldiers? Yes or no? I just want an answer. Yes or no?
I don't know, I'll have to work on that.
No. I mean, think about it. You're all speaking from intelligent
and
point.
if all other nations also don't run.
Huh.
Exactly.
Is it possible? That's an utopian situation.
Yeah.
Everyone would love that.
Yeah.
But is it practical? See, let's not speak about utopian things. We are in the planet Earth, where we are not in the spiritual world. We are in planet Earth. We have n number of people with n number of things. Can you just manage a country without police? You will see the crime rates going up, and then what you will do? What will you do? You will not have anyone to enforce the laws.
You have to.
You have to. So please get the point that it's not about anyone wanting violence. No one wants it. It's the only thing that there are certain situations, there are certain people you can't deal with any other way. You can't deal with any other way. Now someone has come to you who has murdered 100 people. You'll go and embrace him. What will you do? Will you not punish him? How will you embrace him? Embracing him is not love. Punishing him is compassion. You understanding the point? A person who has done crime, you can't treat him with the level that you treat anyone else. You can't have, this is not the way equality works. The way equality works is you have rules and you have people, you encourage people to follow rules, but someone who day by day intentionally he breaks the rules, day by day he gets violent, he commits crimes, he commits murders, you can't leave these people just go walk away free. And what will happen to society? So all ideas are utopian, great, perfect society, no country should attack this, that, no terrorism. But what's the reality? Those who have gone through episodes of terrorism, they will understand. It's easy to say all these things when no one has experienced anything, but it's a different world. The realities are very different.
I think your point was strong to make us understand.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah. See, I could not necessarily have to touch this example. It's not that, but this example makes things very clear about what is on par with authority and not. But basically, principle of akarma is when you act on behalf of God. See, like someone may do any activity. Someone may be student studying, yeah, someone may be cooking, right? These are all activities that we do. Now, what is akarma is when you do that particular activity for God's pleasure, not for your own. So that activity becomes akarma. So any activity, when it is done with the right intention, with God in the center, that is called akarma. Any activity that you do with yourself in the center, then you get implicated in karma. Getting the point? So the whole principle of, yes.
so. The fact today I made kheer for God, I did a kind.
Exactly. So any activity that you do for God, for God's pleasure, that is called akarma. That's the principle. Okay? So if you all don't want the killing example, I'll not touch it. Okay? But yeah, that's a different thing. We can have a different discussion on that altogether. Okay? So now, this is what akarma is. Another word for akarma is called yoga. You have heard the word yoga? Another word for akarma is yoga. So akarma and yoga are both the same thing. Yoga, generally when we use the word yoga, you have all heard yoga, right? When we hear the word yoga, what comes to our mind? Asanas. That is BKS Iyengar doing yoga. And down is another guy doing yoga. Hare Krishna. Same asana.
It's called vodka yoga.
Yeah. So yoga, right? So this is what comes to our mind. So actually, what is the meaning of yoga? Yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yuj. Yuj means to join. This is the meaning of yoga. Asan, pranayam, these are just means to help you make that connect with God. They are not the end in themselves. Just perfecting asanas and pranayam, you have not reached the conclusion of yoga. The conclusion of yoga is samadhi, or making that connection with God. Understanding? And akarma is also the same thing. What does akarma means? Doing your activities in connection with God. It's the same thing. Just like why to connect, the principle of why to connect. Like hair, everyone loves their hair. As something interesting is, as long as the hair is connected to our body, it has value. Okay? Once the hair is cut from the body, has it any value? It has no value. Understanding the point? So that means what is in connection with the whole has value. As soon as the part is disconnected from the whole, it loses its value. So similarly, the scriptures explain we are all part and parcel of God. When we are in connection with God, yoga is established. It has value. Like a wire, if there's a disconnect, then it's not going to work. That connection is very important for things to be effective. We gave this example in the start also. A fish. For the fish to be happy, the fish only needs water. If the fish is in water, it's going to be happy. The fish doesn't need a happiness seminar. Right? Just put the fish in water, it's happy. That's it. Why to complicate things? Things are very simple. Right? So similarly, for all of us to be happy, what do we need? We need water. And water here refers to our connection with God. Just like water is for the fish, for all of us, that water, that thing that is truly essential for us to remain happy, to remain peaceful, is that connection with God. And that is what the principle of yoga is, to make that connection. So yoga is not meant for a shapely body. These may be byproducts of yoga, but this is not the aim of yoga. Someone can say that, I have a perfectly shapely body because I'm doing yoga. That's not the end of yoga. Yoga is not even meant for good health. By doing yoga, pranayama, asanas, you may have good health, but that's not the end of yoga. That's not the end. Because even if you have the best of health, one day the body is going to fall apart, na? Will the body remain permanently there? It is going to fall apart. So the purpose of yoga is not good health, not increased lifespan, not for mystic powers. Not for mystic powers. One time there was one person, India is a land where you will have so many different kinds of sadhus, different paths altogether. So there was one particular person who went to the Himalayas and he stayed there for years, did a lot of austerity, and he came back to his village and he had got a yogic power. The yogis, if you go to Kumbh Mela and all these places, you'll find yogis doing great things. They can just sleep in fire, they can do so many things. They can increase their lifespan, they can eat glass, they can do anything practically. You get these mystic powers. So for this yoga, there's this powerful person who went to the Himalayas, got these yogic powers, and he got the power to walk on water. He could literally walk on water. So he came back to his village and he called all the villagers and he wanted to demonstrate his power. All the villagers were there. He literally walked on water, crossed the river walking. Everyone was so impressed. One boy there, he told this yogi, what you have done is worth 50 paisa. Because I give 50 paisa to a boatman, he crosses me across. That's it. So the point is, mystic powers are great, very attractive. But this is not the perfection of yoga. The perfection of yoga is to make that connect with God. That is what is most important. In the Bhagavad Gita, 4 types of yoga are discussed. Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Dhyana yoga and Bhakti yoga. Okay? So yoga refers to connect. So karma yoga means connecting your activities, your senses to God. Jnana yoga means the pursuit of knowledge, with your intelligence, with your mind. Dhyana yoga means you sit to meditate and then you try to connect to God, right, with your intelligence. Bhakti yoga means to connect your soul to God. The principle of complete surrender. These are the 4 types of yoga that is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. But Lord Krishna also explains in the same Gita that of all the 4 different types of yogas, Bhakti yoga is the most practical. It is the most practical yoga. Anyone and everyone can do it. Anyone and everyone can do it. Now, what is a yoga that even a small kid can do? Can a small kid learn Jnana yoga, study scriptures? Very difficult for him. Can a small kid learn all the pranayams, asanas? Very difficult for him. Very difficult to perfect all this. But even a small kid can participate in the process of bhakti. Even he can start the process of bhakti. You have in scriptures the example of Dhruva Maharaj. You have heard about Dhruva Maharaj? Dhruva Maharaj the story comes in Bhagavatam. He was a 5-year-old boy and he started bhakti and actually he saw God face to face. The story of Dhruva Maharaj. The story of Prahlad Maharaj. You have heard the story of Prahlad? Prahlad was in the womb of his mother, Kayadu, the wife of Hiranyakashipu. And in the womb of his mother, he started bhakti. Because he met Narad Muni. And from Narad Muni, he started to hear scriptures. Narad Muni would give discourse. Prahlad's mother would hear, but little Prahlad was also in the womb. And he was also getting these vibrations. Now tell me, which is the yoga that a child can do in the womb? In the womb, can you teach the child pranayam, asanas? You can't teach. But even if the mother sits for a Krishna Katha class, Gita class, Bhagavatam class, chants the holy name, the child will start getting all those benefits in the womb. So Bhakti Yoga is the most practical yoga that can be done by anyone and everyone. In Bhagavatam, you have the example of Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit I'm giving, for many of you all these names may be a little new. Parikshit is the son of grandson of Arjuna, right, who was there in the Mahabharata. So Parikshit was a great devotee of the Lord. Parikshit was cursed by someone that he will die in 7 days. Parikshit had a death notice of 7 days. Now in 7 days, which yoga can you perfect? In 7 days, can you learn perfectly asana, pranayam? Impossible. You can't do it. In 7 days, can you read all the Vedic scriptures, the pursuit of jnana? Not possible. Vairagya? Not possible. But in 7 days, Parikshit perfected his life and went to the spiritual world. Because he participated wholeheartedly in the process of bhakti. So we say bhakti yoga is a process that you can do from the womb till the tomb. Wherever you are in this bracket, whether you're a child, whether you're a fag end of your life or anywhere in between, anyone and everyone can do it. Man, woman, anyone and everyone can do it. So therefore bhakti yoga is the most practical. Like Windows, you have different versions of Windows now. Now if you have to know which version of Windows is the best, whom will you ask? You will ask Bill Gates. This is the guy who made all this. And he knows everything. He will clearly tell you which version of Windows is the best. Isn't it? Now if you want to know which version of yoga is the best, simple, ask Lord Krishna. Because he is the master of all yogas. He is the one who created all these yoga systems. Just ask him, that's it, final opinion. So Krishna in the Gita explains all yoga systems. He explains dhyana yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, everything. But time and again in every section Krishna explains how bhakti yoga is the most supreme. This is 6th chapter of Gita, the last verse of the 6th chapter. The 6th chapter of Gita is called Dhyana Yoga. What is the 6th chapter called? Dhyana Yoga. Krishna explains the systematic process of dhyana. How one should go to the forest, sit and meditate, put a deer skin and all the whole process, technical process. But the last verse of the 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga, Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham matgaten antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo matah. So Krishna says, that is my opinion. And we discussed Krishna is not an ordinary person. He is the Supreme Lord. He is the master of all yogas. So what is Krishna saying? Of all the yogis, yoginam api sarvesham, of all the different kinds of yogis, who is the highest? Matgaten antaratmana, one who always thinks of me. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam, with lot of faith he worships me. Same yukta tamo matah. Such a person is the highest yogi. Understanding the point? So this is not just one shloka, many shlokas in the Gita. There's one shloka in the Gita, Krishna says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavama prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Krishna says, a jnani, one who is on the pursuit of jnana yoga, after hundreds and thousands of births, he may come to the conclusion that I am the essence of all jnana and start doing bhakti. Such a person is the highest. So in this way, Krishna in many shlokas in the Gita, he explains this point of how bhakti yoga is the highest of all. So other yoga processes, like you have karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga, they are like ladders. Krishna explains this yoga ladder. See, ultimately we saw yoga is a way in which you connect to God. Now if God is just to give an example, if God is like on the 100th floor, now to get to the 100th floor you have to climb steps to reach there. What are the steps? The steps are the yoga process. Right? You climb the steps of yoga, you will reach God. Right? So now these yoga process, karma, jnana, dhyana, bhakti, they are in sequence. Like if someone does karma yoga, we will not get into the technical details, but if one does karma yoga, by doing karma yoga, working in a very selfless spirit, not expecting the fruits of reactions, one gradually gets knowledge. In a selfless spirit, if you work, you get knowledge. Then you enter the platform of jnana. when you get lot of knowledge of scriptures, then you understand that purpose of Gyan is to meditate on the Lord. Then you enter into the school of Dhyan. And then when you perfect the school of Dhyan, you understand the perfection of Dhyana Yoga is to surrender to God and render service to Him. Then one enters the school of Bhakti. So the way it is explained is, Karma Yoga, if you perfect Karma Yoga, it will take you to 25 floors. After that, you have to get into Jnana Yoga from 25 on. Jnana Yoga will take you to the 50th floor. After that, you have to get into the school. You will mature into the school of Dhyana. Dhyana will take you to the 75th floor. And after that, compulsory, you will have to enter into the school of Bhakti to reach God, to make that connection. So there are two ways you can reach 100th floor. One, climb the steps. Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Which may take a long time. It may take lifetimes of pursuit. Other way is sit in the lift. Hare Krishna.
Not in this lift.
Not in this lift.
Actually, Lina and they are stuck downstairs. They're downstairs.
Stuck in the lift?
No, they're downstairs.
Okay. They didn't get in the lift.
Lift is not working.
Okay, just tell them to hear it online. Let them not waste their time.
They can hear it now.
Yeah, and it's in my channel, Achyut Gopal Das. They can go and hear.
That I
Okay, I'm sending you the link. Okay, I've sent the link in the group, the live link in the group. You can tell them to hear. So Bhakti Yoga is the direct process. Understanding? There is a process where you can go to karma, jnana, dhyana, bhakti. Eventually you will have to come to bhakti. Eventually. Without that one cannot achieve God. Direct processes sit in the lift. In Kali Yuga, the time and age where we are in, people don't have time. Hai ki nahi? The irony in today's world is, we are in a world where everything is fast. Fast phone, smart watches, smart cars, smart washing machines, everything is smart. But still people don't have time. No time. Hai ki nahi? So now, in a situation like this, where is the time to do all the different yogas gradually? So therefore Krishna in the Gita, he explains all different yogas. But the conclusion, you know what Krishna says? The conclusive verse of the Gita. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Krishna explains different kinds of yoga, but in conclusion he says, forget all this. Just surrender unto me. You will save a lot of time. Right? Just sit in the lift and go. That's it. So Bhakti Yoga is the direct process where very quickly one can reach that perfection. Therefore Parikshit, coming back to that example, when he had 7 days left, he didn't take the indirect process. He said, forget all that. He just took wholeheartedly to the process of bhakti and perfected his life. So we are in a time where time is very short. Things can just happen. Anything can happen at any moment. Things are very fickle in this world. Very temporary. So we have to take a bhakti with a sense of urgency. We have to do this. If we do this in this one lifetime, in a very short span of life, we can achieve perfection. Right? This is what Bhakti Yoga is. To give you another example of how Bhakti Yoga is the essence and the super excellent form of yoga in the Gita according to Krishna. Like you have a sandwich. Do you have sandwich today? Yes? No. Okay. I should have told you. So just like you have a sandwich, so in the sandwich, top and down is bread. Hai ki nahi? The stuffing between keeps changing. You have jam, cheese, whatever you want, like veg sandwich, whatever. The stuffing in between keeps changing. The sandwich gets its name based on what? What is in between? Top and down is bread only, na? What is in between? Depending on the sandwich gets its name. Bhagavad Gita is like a sandwich. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. How many chapters Gita has? 18 chapters. They are divided into 6, 6 and 6. First 6, middle 6 and last 6. Total 18. Okay? The first 6 chapters predominantly talk about karma. The last 6 chapters predominantly talk about jnana. And the middle 6 chapters predominantly talk about bhakti. Krishna could have done it in the other way, but it's not done that way. The middle chapters speak about bhakti. 12th chapter of Gita is devotional service, called Bhakti Yoga. 9th chapter of Gita comes in between, it's called the most confidential knowledge. Right? So these chapters are in between. Why? Because Krishna is, just by placing these chapters, these knowledges like this, Krishna is driving the point that how Bhakti Yoga is the essence of what Bhagavad Gita is about to convey. See, Bhagavad Gita, I told you, total 18 chapters. Right? What is the exact between of Gita? It is between 9th and 10th chapter. 9 and 9. So where the 9th chapter ends and the 10th start is like the center point of Gita. Central verse. The last verse of the 9th chapter, Krishna says, Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. 9th chapter, last verse, Krishna says, Manmana, always think of me. Mad bhakto, become my devotee. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam namaskuru, surrender unto me, offer obeisances to me. So this one verse is the exact middle of Gita. And this is the essence of Gita. And this one verse is the only verse in Gita that comes twice. This is the only verse. Again at the end of the 18th chapter, Krishna speaks the same thing. Same thing. In the middle and at the end, Krishna is speaking the same thing. Worship me, become my devotee. So Bhagavad Gita and Bhakti is considered to be the centermost, the essence, the main part of the Bhagavad Gita. Just like if you have wealth in the house, lot of gold and all, where will you keep it? Will you keep it in the living room? Huh? You can't keep it in the living room. Where do you keep it? Right at the middle point. No one can reach. Right? So Krishna has kept the wealth of Gita, which is Bhakti Yoga, right in between, preserved it very well, so that very few rare people, very special people who have that mercy are able to achieve that wealth. Understanding the point? So Bhagavad Gita, there are many different types of yogas explained, but Bhakti Yoga is considered to be the topmost, the essence, the core of the message of Bhagavad Gita. And as I told you, Bhakti Yoga is like very easy to practice. Anyone can do it. In the process of Dhyana Yoga, ideally, if you read Krishna's Dhyana Yoga system in the Bhagavad Gita, you can't do Dhyana Yoga sitting at home. The first prerequisite of Dhyana Yoga is you have to go to the forest. Hare Krishna. You have to leave home and go. How many are ready to do? No one is ready to do. Right? Very difficult, all the other yogas. To practice Jnana Yoga, you have to master Sanskrit. And mastering Sanskrit is just not the language, vocabulary of Sanskrit, the Nyaya, Vyakaran. It will take you 25-30 years. Then only you can start opening the Vedas and start to read. How is it possible now? Very difficult now. So the yoga that is possible by anyone and everyone, wherever you are, is Bhakti Yoga. Easy to practice. Anyone and everyone can do it. We'll explain to you how easy it is. One time someone asked Michelangelo, you know Michelangelo, they asked him, how do you make such beautiful sculptures, all these sculptures that you make? He said, I don't make it. They are already there. I just remove the unwanted stone and what is the actual murti comes out. Similarly, love for Bhakti Yoga basically means love for God. Love for God is already there within our hearts. You don't have to purchase it from outside. It is there within everyone's heart. We just have to remove the unwanted stuff, and the love for God that is naturally there will come out. It will be revived. You don't have to get it from outside. There's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which says, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabu Noy Shravanadi Shuddhi Chittai Kariye Uday. So it says that love for Krishna, you don't have to get it from outside. Just like a child learning to walk. How does a child learn to walk? That capacity to walk is there in the child. It's already there in the child. It just has to be revived. Understanding? Similarly, the capacity to love God is there within all of us. It just has to be revived in an environment. So satsang is an environment where the original love for God is revived, is rekindled. That's what happens in a satsang. And when you go in an association outside devotees, that love for God gets more covered up. So satsang is a platform where it can actually be revived. Just like you have a magnet. A magnet naturally can pull iron filings. Right? But if the iron filing, we have all done this experiment in school. If this iron filing has rusted, then the magnet will not be able to pull it. What do you have to do? What do you have to do to that rust? You have to scrape it. The iron filing which is covered by rust, it still has the capacity that it can get pulled towards the magnet. It still has the capacity. Just that it is covered by unwanted things. You take a salt paper, rub it off, remove all those rust, immediately it will get pulled. You're getting the point? So similarly, all of us, naturally we should get attracted to Krishna. Naturally we should get attracted there, not to this world. But why is it not happening that way? Because we are covered with anarthas. Sanskrit calls this, in Sanskrit this is called anarthas, unwanted things. And what are the unwanted things? Lust, anger, pride, greed, envy, illusion. This is what our heart is filled with right now. All these impurities. Once we start to remove all these impurities, immediately that connection will be established. We will immediately get pulled towards spirituality. Krishna will immediately be able to pull you. And that is the process of Bhakti Yoga. When we practice Bhakti Yoga, all these anarthas gradually start to go. And naturally that pull comes. We were very often giving the example of Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada in the 1970s went to America, Prabhupada was dealing with a group of young boys and girls who are doing all kinds of wrong activities. Their lives were filled with lust, anger, pride and all this. But just by, you can be comfortable here. Just by practicing the process of Bhakti Yoga, chanting, hearing and all this, gradually their hearts became pure. And they naturally became lovers of Krishna. See, for someone in India to love Krishna is, you can always talk about it. But how can someone in the West become a lover of Krishna? How is it possible?
The more lovers in the West then.
Yeah, how is it possible? They are able to do it because it's already there with them. It's there in their heart. It's natural to them. Krishna is natural to them. As soon as these anarthas were gone, they were immediately pulled. So Krishna, what does Krishna mean? Krishna means all attractive. Krishna is like that super powerful magnet that can attract anyone and everyone from any part of the world. Any part of the world Krishna can attract. If someone follows the process and all his anarthas go away, Krishna will be able to pull. Okay? Did you all understand till here? Did you all understand till here? Anjali Mataji, did you follow? Living that killing example.
That beautiful example I finally you gave
Which one?
of my lunch.
Good.
That is a nice one.
ठीक है, okay. ठीक है. ठीक है. Did you all follow? Are you all understanding everything? ठीक है. So now, should we go a little ahead or should we stop and continue this next time? Whatever your take. We can go ahead. So now your capacities are increasing.
I have a little question.
Yes, please.
Why is Krishna asking us to love or follow or isn't this a process should be natural that we should want to
Yeah.
instead of him asking us to?
Yeah. So definitely, it is ultimately we wanting it. But Krishna, as a father, as a supreme father, Krishna is just giving that kind of education and then leaving it. Even in the Gita, Krishna speaks 700 shlokas. At the end of the Gita, if you read, Krishna will tell Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, I have spoken. Now you do what you like to do. You are free to do what you want to do. So Krishna gives us the right path, the best path, and then he also gives the freedom. You decide whatever you want. So Arjuna chose to follow Krishna's instruction. Duryodhana also had got a chance to hear. Even before this, Krishna gave a lot of good instructions to Duryodhana. But he chose not to follow. So we all have this choice whether to follow or not. Right? So Krishna, just going back to that story of the prodigal son, Krishna is like the supreme father who wants us to be back with him. Not that because he wants to increase the number of servants of his, not that. It's a mood of love that Krishna wants. Right? Krishna wants to have loving relationships, like a father wants the son, in that mood. But beyond that, even if the son feels that, I'm not ready, I just want to be on my own, Krishna says, okay, please go ahead. I will still support you. See, even those who have rejected Krishna and who are there in this world, they are also provided by Krishna only, na? Even the atheists, who is supplying the atheists, who's taking care of the atheists, God only is taking care. Right? So even if you reject God, He is still there with you, supporting you, and hoping that one day the intelligence of this child will dawn. So that's the mood of Krishna.
Prabhuji, I find it very disturbing when a lot of people I come across say, oh, we don't follow God.
Yeah,
Don't believe in God.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
believe in God.
Yeah.
I mean, that, for a person like me who believes so much,
Yeah.
I just say, what do you mean? I mean, just,
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the problem. I mean, because we have been discussing the same thing, because people have not been educated in a proper way, people turn out to be atheists because they don't find any good reason why to become a believer in God. They don't find it. So if you can give them something positive, and more than just giving reasons, if they find a path and they can follow it and they get experiences down the line, then such people will change. So many people will definitely change, and so many people have changed. So it's a process. We need to be patient with people, and we need to keep gradually encouraging people. Gradually the changes will come, because the process of Gita, the process of Bhakti is very powerful. It can bring about the transformation. People just need to keep that connection on. It will gradually happen in its time. Okay, so now should we go ahead for some time? Should we stop? Whatever you all say. Yeah.
ask questions.
Okay. Okay. So we will end for today. We will continue this the next time. You all can think about this. So the next part, we are building up the topic of how Bhakti is most important. Now slowly I'll be getting into what it means to do Bhakti on a daily basis in our life. We are getting into that discussion, right? Yes. Please tell me, you have anything to?
Yes, I have a question. The Gita was written on the battlefield.
It was not written on the battlefield, it was spoken on the battlefield.
Spoken on the battlefield.
Yes.
Yeah, it was spoken about on the battlefield.
Are you asking this question for Anjali Mataji?
No, I'm not.
Okay. She doesn't want to hear fighting and battlefield, but we love to hear about Kurukshetra. Okay, yes, please continue.
So my question is that does everything have to start bad and then become good?
No. So the reason.
Because no, I'll interrupt you.
Okay.
Again.
Yes.
Because is violence necessary for? Okay, don't look at her. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
So is violence necessary for the good of something?
Sometimes yes. See, probably you all don't know the storyline of Mahabharata. You'll have to read the storyline, then only you'll be able to understand why it was. Yeah. So basically, Krishna didn't want the war.
Yes.
He went n number of times to Duryodhana. So many people went to this guy. Let's not get into this war. Let's settle it out. The Pandavas are also rulers. Their blood is to rule. They are Kshatriyas. Krishna went with such a proposal. He told Duryodhana, see, the kingdom rightfully belonged to the Pandavas, which Duryodhana usurped and sent them to the forest, tried to disrobe. See, if any of this thing, any one of this thing someone had done to you, you will severely punish this guy. Pandavas, they were thrown out of the kingdom. Their kingdom, they were thrown out for 13 years. Their wife was tried to be stripped naked in front of everyone. They were fed poison. Attempts to kill them so many times. So many of these things happened to them. Still the Pandavas, they were so kind. They said, let's not get into this. Krishna went as the peace messenger, Shanti Dut. Now Krishna, the Supreme Lord, Krishna said, I know in future people will question me why this war has happened. So Krishna said, okay, I'll go as the peace messenger. So Krishna went and told Duryodhana and company, forget. You are a stubborn guy. Keep the entire world. You want to be the king, keep the entire world. Give Pandavas 5 villages. Rest entire world is yours. Duryodhana said, no. I will not give them even space for a pin to sit. I will not even give that much. So what did Krishna do? This guy is so adamant. Didn't listen to anyone. Didn't listen to Bhishma. Didn't listen to Vidura. Didn't listen to any of these people. So what can you do? So the war was inevitable. So that's why it happened. So war always happens as the last resort. It's never jump to conclusion first. You try to do all your peace negotiations and hundreds of things, and in spite of that, someone is hell-bent on doing his way. He doesn't want to change. Then it is supposed to happen. Yeah. That's what it is. Just like we give this example, if there is cancer growing in someone's body, if there is cancer lump growing in someone's body, and a surgeon tells you we have to cut it, will you tell the surgeon, I don't believe in violence? No violence. But if you don't do that violence, there's going to be massive violence that cancer cells are going to do. Isn't it? Surgery is an act of violence. Using a knife is an act of violence. But if you don't do that violence, that patient is going to go through major violence. So, just like you have cancer in the body which has to be cut timely, in society also you have cancerous elements who have to be cut. Otherwise they will spread massive. So timely they have to be cut, they have to be nibbed, and this is considered an act of dharma. To save the greater society, some amount of violence, guided, not passionate, guided amount of violence is needed for that operation to happen, which is the way dharma is maintained always. Okay.
I want to share
So,
something.
yeah.
I want to share that connection with God. That God is there
Devnath?
for you. And I want to give an example.
Yeah. Devnath, can we put this off? Yes. आता है तुमको वो क्रॉस बटन?
I think you're all my devotee family, so I want to share it.
Yes.
It was something very important to me. I had a little